ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददान्ति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगण ललिता शिविशाखान्वितंश्च ये कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hari Om Tat Sat. So, welcome all the devotees for today's teachings of Lord Chaitanya class. So, we'll continue from the last class. Okay. Asked Sanatana Goswami to listen attentively as he described the different features of Krishna. First, the Lord informed him that Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaja, is the absolute supreme truth, the cause of all causes, and the origin of all emanations and incarnations. Yet, okay, the cause of all causes and the origin of all emanations and incarnations. Yet in Vraja or Goloka Vrindavana, he is just like a young boy. His form is eternal, full of bliss and full of knowledge, absolute. He is both the shelter of everything and the proprietor as well. So, Lord Chaitanya asked Sanatana Goswami to listen very carefully, attentively. He was describing different features of Lord Krishna. Krishna, Nanda Maharaja's son, he is the supreme absolute truth. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Sanatana Goswami, which Lord Brahma also confirms. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana, cause of all causes. Okay. And the origin of all emanations and incarnations. Yet in Vraja or Goloka Vrindavana, just like a young boy. So people get bewildered. Okay. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay, who is proprietor, controller, enjoyer of all the manifest, unmanifest creations. He is just playing like a coward boy in Vraja. How is it possible? That is how Indra got bewildered, Lord Brahma got bewildered, so many others got bewildered. And even all the inhabitants of Raja never know, doesn't know that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because he is playing amongst the inhabitants of Vraja as one among them. That's why in Srimad Bhagavatam, Aho Bhagyam, Nanda Gopa Vrajokasham, Yanmitram Paramanandam, Purna Brahma Sanatanam. How fortunate are these inhabitants of Vraja? You know, they are very lucky because this Krishna is playing with them as friend in the compound of Nanda Maharaja, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who all the yogis are meditating to have a vision for thousands and thousands of years. They cannot get the vision of or darshan of Lord Krishna. That Krishna is taking up a role of a coward boy and mingling with these people just as freely as any normal person does. So how can we understand that Supreme Personality of Godhead is playing among these inhabitants of Raja just like an ordinary cowherd boy. It is very, very difficult to fathom. That's why Brahma got bewildered, Indra got bewildered, and all the Brajavasis also doesn't know that he is a supreme. They know, but because they're all covered by Yogamaya, they don't treat him as the supreme person, nor Krishna wants to be treated as a supreme person by them. He also forgets. Lord Krishna very conveniently forgets that he is Supreme Lord, and the people in the Vraja also forget that he is the Supreme Lord. So the mellow between this coward boy Krishna and the other inhabitants of Vraja is something very, very sweet. They have got so much attraction towards Krishna. Even the Vraja Gopikas, Vraja Gopis, they don't have the love towards their children as much as they have towards Krishna. When Krishna expanded himself into cowherd boys and calves, when Lord Brahma stole all of them, this motherly affection was flowing more than towards their children. So they had some special attention, special liking towards the expanded, because they are not ordinary. They are Lord Krishna himself expanded in the form of their sons and the calves. So the love that they exhibited, the mother and father, especially the mother, the Gopikas, exhibited towards their, cowherd and towards their children. Why? It was much, much more than towards their own children. Their own children were taken by Lord Brahma and hidden somewhere. But in place of them, Lord Krishna expanded, and he became the son of these Gopikas. So that is why Lord Krishna doesn't know that he is the Supreme Lord in Vraja, nor the Vrajavasis knows that he is Supreme Lord. But the attraction between them, the loving exchange that between the Vrajavasis and Lord Krishna is something which we can't even fathom. That's why here it is said, Ishvara Parama Krishna, in this connection, Lord Chaitanya gave evidence from the Brahma Samhita 5.1. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karma. So he is the supreme person, but in Vraja nobody knows that he is supreme person. That's why many people get bewildered. Even the great yogis who are doing ritualistic activities to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by different rituals, they don't know that the same person to whom they are doing the oblation is playing in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a body full of knowledge, eternality and bliss. He has no origin. He is the original person known as Govinda. So Govinda is one who gives pleasure to senses, one who gives pleasure to cows, and is the cause of all causes. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave evidence that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Full in all six opulences is abode, known as Goloka Vrindavana, is the highest planet in the spiritual sky. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told Sanatana Goswami, in the spiritual sky, there are different gradations for the spiritual planets. So the topmost planet in the spiritual sky is Goloka Vrindavana. So below that only is Vaikuntha planets. So in addition, Lord Chaitanya quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. This also to substantiate that Lord Sri Krishna is the fountainhead of all gods. He is the king of all gods, God of all gods. Ete chamsa kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Indrari Vyagulam Logam Vridayandi Yuge Yuge. So ete cha amsa kalapumsa. All the incarnations described previously are either direct expansions of Krishna or indirectly expansions of the expansion of Krishna. So so all the avatars or all the expansions are either direct expansion of Krishna or indirectly expansions of the expansions of Krishna. But Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. He appears on earth in this universe or any other universe when there is a disturbance created by the demons who are always trying to disrupt the administration of the demigods. So who is that Indrari? Indrari Vyagulam Logam? What does it mean?
Demons. Asuras.
So why it is? Yeah, why it is Indrari?
They are enemy of Indra Prabhuji, Asuras.
Yeah, yes. That's why enemies of Indra. That's why this name Indrari. So enemies of Indra means Asuras always make disturbance to the saintly personalities. Vyakulam Logam. So in the material world, they are creating disturbance. So to pacify all the pious souls and to annihilate all the impious or asuras, yuge yada hi dharmasya ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Here again, Mridayandi yuge yuge. He appears in every millennium to kill the impious, to kill the miscreants, to save the pious. And who is that? He is the Supreme Lord Krishna. And his expansion and portion of expansion or expansion of expansions are different avatars. So Srimad Bhagavatam also glorifies Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there are three different processes by which Krishna can be understood. The empiric process of philosophical speculation, the process of meditation according to the mystic yoga system, and the process of Krishna consciousness or devotional service. So which we all know, we are very familiar with that. That is Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So this is what? So these are the three different processes. That is empiric process of philosophy, that is Jnana Yoga, process of meditation, Dhyana Yoga, and the devotional service is Bhakti Yoga. By philosophical speculation, the impulsive Brahman feature of Krishna is understood. By meditation or mystic yoga, the super soul, the all-pervading expansion of Krishna is understood. And by devotional service, in full Krishna consciousness, the original personality of Godhead Krishna is realized. In this connection, Lord Chaitanya quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmedi paramatmedi bhagwan idi satyade. So again, this is a sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining to Sanatana Goswami there are three different aspects. The mental speculators know only the first aspect of that, that is Brahman, because they know only that, which is an incomplete realization. And the Tattva, the what you call Paramatmavadis, okay, the Dhyana yogis, they know the second aspect also. What is that? Paramatma aspect. Brahman aspect and Paramatma. But the devotee, the bhaktas, they know the Bhagwan aspect, which includes the Brahman and Paramatma. So that's a complete understanding, complete realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, different aspects. So Brahmedi, Paramatmedi, Bhagwan idi sadhyade. So those who know Bhagwan knows automatically the Paramatma and Brahman aspect. But those who know Brahman, they don't know the other two aspects. They will not see. It's not that they don't know, but they don't take it seriously. So this is ultimate. For them, Brahman is ultimate. For Jnanis, they want to attain Brahman. So they don't go beyond that Brahman realization. But the Paramatmavadis, they know Brahman and the Paramatma aspect, because they know Paramatma is dwelling in each and every living entity, not only in each and every living entity, even in animate objects also. But the devotees are those who knows the Bhagwan aspect, which includes Paramatma as well as Brahman aspect. That's a complete understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which corresponds to Sat, Chit and Ananda. The Brahmavadis know only Sat, the eternity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Brahman, and the Paramatmavadis know both Brahman and Paramatma, and the devotees knows Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. That is Sat, Chit and Ananda. So the Mayavadis know only Sat, Paramatmavadis Sat and Chit, and devotee Satchitananda. So those who are knowers of the absolute truth describe the absolute truth in three features: the impersonal Brahman, the localized, all-pervading supersoul, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. In other words, Brahman, the impersonal manifestation, Paramatma, localized manifestation, and Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are one and the same. But according to the process adopted, he is realized as Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Okay. So here again it is reconfirmed that Brahman, the impersonal manifestation. Okay. Why? Because there is no impersonal, means there is no personal form. Whatever we are seeing or experiencing is but the Supreme Lord. There is nothing apart from Supreme Lord, isn't it? Can you point out anything that doesn't belong to Supreme Lord? Everything belongs to. So that is a Brahman aspect. But then that same Supreme Personality of Godhead expands as individual super soul in each and every living entity as Paramatma. He is there in each and along with each and every individual, coexisting. And that's same Supreme Personality of Godhead as Bhagavan is totally aloof and enjoying in his own Goloka Vrindavana, who is not at all connected to this material world. He is in his own world, enjoying his leelas or different pastimes with his own close associates in the Goloka Vrindavana. Isn't it? So he has no business in this material world. He comes only once in a day of Brahma as he is. All other time he sends his representation expansions or expansions of the expansion. But as he is, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he comes only once in a day of Brahma. So that was the time during this Chatur Yuga cycle, the last Dwapara Yuga, he came. Now he will not come next Chatur Yuga. He will come next day of Brahma. And similarly, in the same Chatur Yuga where Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears, immediately followed by him in the next Yuga, that is Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also appears in the same Yuga cycle when Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, comes. And he gives us the best medicine for us. Okay, the efficacy or the effect of this Mahamantra is much, much more than when Lord Chaitanya comes in another Chatur Yuga. Okay, yeah, this is very special Yuga. That's why we are very, very fortunate to have been taken birth in this particular Chatur Yuga, because we have got both Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Now, to get this fortune, the living entities have to take birth in the next Kalpa of Brahma. So how many thousands? So 1,000 Yuga cycle has to pass. 1,000, no, 2,000 in fact, because 1,000 Yuga cycle daytime, 1,000 Yuga cycle nighttime also. So just see the fortunate position of all of us. So in this only the Hare Krishna mantra is very effective. That's why from the advent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for next 10,000 years is called golden era. So now, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advented just 520 years before, another 9,480 years still balance. So within this 9,480 years, if we can get to the other side of this creation, that means to the spiritual side of the creation, that is Paramdhama, we are safe. If you think that I will take chance next time, okay, this next time will not be in this 10,000 years. Why? You may think, there are 9,480 years balance. Suppose you have got promoted to the higher planetary system. You are living there for another 100,000 years. Okay, so how you will come within this 10,000 years here again? Suppose we have done some pious activities and you get promoted to the Surga Loka, heavenly planets. There the lifespan is say about 100,000 years. So you enjoy the 100,000 years. By the time you come here, in the Kali Yuga is in advanced, because 432,000 years, only 5,200 years passed. So another 427. So you will be in the climax of Kali Yuga, in the advanced time of Kali Yuga, where people will be killing each one of them, and because we have to start from scratch, we don't have any pious credit. So whatever desires we have, and we will take birth in this material world, suppose. So we'll be coming back again in a very bad time. So never try to take a chance. Okay, so many births are there. Okay, if you are taking birth in as an ant, you may get so many, that 10,000 is nothing, I mean too much. But if you are taking birth as Gandharvas or Kinnaras or Charanas or demigods, then you had it. So we should never take a chance. Do not procrastinate. All of us should take it very seriously, so that we don't have to get elevated to the higher primary system. If you are getting human birth, yes, well and good, no problem. We get so many, because in this human birth, we are hardly 60, 70, 100 years. As the age progresses, the duration of our lifetime, human lifetime, is also decreasing. But there is no guarantee that we will take as human in the next life. If by chance, if we are getting elevated to the higher planetary system, we had it. So never take a chance. So this is what we have to understand. So by realizing the impulse of Brahman, one simply realize the effulgence emanating from the transcendental body of Krishna. So what is this Brahma Jyoti? So it is the light that is emanating from the body of Krishna. Why the sky is blue? Because the Lord Krishna's body is also blue. The light emanating from that body is also blue. So the effulgence is compared to the sunshine. There is the sun god, the sun itself, and the sunshine, which is the effulgence of the original sun god. Similarly, spiritual effulgence, Brahma Jyoti, the impulse of Brahman, is nothing but the personal effulgence of Krishna. To support this analysis, Lord Chaitanya quoted an important verse from the Brahma Samhita 5.40, in which Lord Brahma says, so the Jyoti is that which emanates from the body of Krishna. Okay, and that is what the sun god is also emitting. So on its own, sun god cannot emit any light. Okay. This also emanating from the Supreme Lord Krishna only. So yasya prabha prabhavado jagadanda koti shasesha vasudadi vibhudi bhinnam tad brahma nishkalam anandam ashesha bhutam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. It says, I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, whose personal effulgence is unlimited Brahma Jyoti. In that Brahma Jyoti, there are innumerable universes, each filled with innumerable planets. So Brahma is telling, I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, whose personal effulgence is the unlimited Brahma Jyoti. In that Brahma Jyoti, there are innumerable universes, each filled with innumerable planets. So we know that all the innumerable universes and the planets therein are all floating in the Brahma Jyoti. Okay. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further explained that the Paramatma, the all-pervading feature situated in everyone's body, is but a partial manifestation of expansion of Krishna. So Paramatma is a partial manifestation or expansion of Lord Krishna. It is for this reason that Krishna is sometimes called Paramatma. So the yogis, the dhyanis will always address the Supreme Lord as Paramatma. So they are attracted to that feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are called Paramatmavadis. Supreme Self, the soul of all souls. In this regard, Lord Chaitanya quoted another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Concerning the talks between Maharaja Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami, while hearing the transcendental pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavana, Maharaja Parikshit inquired from his spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami, as to why the inhabitants of Vrindavana were so much attached to Krishna. To this question, Sukadeva Goswami answered, Krishna menam avehitvam atmanam akhila atmanam jagaddidaya sopyatra dehiva bhati mayaya. So Krishna should be known as the soul of all souls, for he is the soul of all individual souls and the soul of the localized Paramatma as well. At Vrindavana, he acted just like a human being to attract people to him and show that he is not formless. Supreme Lord is as much an individual as other living beings, but he is different in that he is the supreme and all other living beings are subordinate to him. All other living beings can enjoy spiritual bliss, eternal life, and full knowledge in his association. So he is a big time actor. Different dramas are being directed by the Supreme Lord. Okay, it's very difficult to understand. In Vrindavana, he is different. He is playing a different role. Just ordinary coward boy. Nobody can understand that is Supreme Lord. Even if he shows, the complete universe in his own mouth, which is witnessed by even Yashodamai, she is not some ghost has haunted him. How can he be Supreme Lord? Maybe some ghost had told him, let me call the astrologer and let me do some rituals so that the ghost will go away. Immediately, she will take cow dung and cow urine, purify the place, call the Brahmanas, chant the Vedic hymns so that the ghost doesn't affect him. So even if he shows so many leelas to substantiate that he is the Supreme Lord, but nobody accepts that he is the Supreme Lord. In some place, purposely he will show that he is the Supreme Lord. But again, just when he showed his opulence, when he went for Sandhi, Duryodhana said he is a Mayavi. Look at this, catch hold of him and tie him, he is a Mayavi. So even though he wants to exhibit that he is the Supreme Lord, people will never accept him. So that is again the Yoga Maya potency of the Supreme Lord. So in different lokas, in different universes, this Leela keeps going. There is not even a single second that his Leela is not taking place. In some corner of universe, in some planets, this Leela keeps happening. So his close associates are also taken as an entourage along with the Supreme Lord to different planets, to different universes to play this. So he is such a great actor. It is very difficult to find out who actually he is. Even in materially speaking, when a person dress up nicely and comes on the stage, we won't know who is that person, even though that person may be very well-known person, very close to us. But when he appears in different attires, we'll be totally confused. Who is he actually? Only when he removes that attire, oh, he is this person. He is Sujay Gauranga Prabhu. Now I know it. Yes. Like that. So like that, Lord Krishna, such magical power is showing. Last time, I think I have told a small story also, which in the Ujjala Nilamani, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura has mentioned, the magician, the supreme magician. He has mentioned in that, because there was a king, and king was very much interested in magic. So he used to invite magicians to his court, and the magicians used to perform, and they used to have a nice time, okay, enjoyable time. So one day he invited a very famous magician of that time and to perform some magics. So he called this magician, and the king called all the prajas to witness this magic show. So all of them were, assembled there, and this magician came with the family, wife and 2 kids, and they put 2 poles and they tied a rope from one pole to the other. So what is, so the head of the family, the father climbed on the rope and he was walking. And he was not walking, it was a tight rope, he was not walking alone. On his shoulder was his wife. And he is walking on this rope from one end to another, from the other end to this end. And here down, these two children were beating on the drums and playing the music. To that tune, they were dancing and going, not even walking. So he's dancing and going on the rope from one end to other, and on his shoulder was his wife. So to the tune of the children's musical instruments, they were dancing and going. So they were enjoying very nicely. Okay, the show was over. They both came down. The king was very, very happy. Immediately he took a very costly, precious diamonds necklace from his neck and given to the performer, the magician. He was very happy. Okay, the elder child wanted to have that, it's very precious. So immediately snatched from the father's hand, and he was seeing that the younger one immediately snatched from the elder son. So they were fighting going on. I want to see it. I want to see it. The mother never saw that. So they were fighting, and they, picked up quarrel. And what happened? This elder boy took a knife and stabbed the younger boy, because in that, quarrel, they wanted to have that. In the quarrel, he stabbed the younger one. Younger one died. Okay, and the younger one, before he also stabbed the elder one. Both of them died. And seeing this, the parents were totally stunned. What to do? And mother, what is the point of me, living now? My two children are dead. Okay. Then she stabbed herself. She also died. Father said, what is the point of living alone? I am alone. He stabbed himself. All the four died. And it was such a wonderful performance. All were all enjoyed. But unfortunately, this became a very, very sad situation. Everybody was, in very sorrowful condition. This magic which they enjoyed became a totally, a sorrowful state of situation. All of them were mourning, and a lot of chaos there. The king doesn't know what to do now. All the four people, the mother, father, both the children, had to live their life. They immediately arranged the cremation of all the four people. The king called the respective people to cremate, and the cremation ceremony was done, and the whole kingdom was in sorrowful condition and left. After a week, king is getting a letter, okay, from a person, and when he reads the letter, it is from the magician. Oh, my dear king, you have given me the gift for my first presentation, first magical show. What about the second magic that I have performed? You have not given me, you have not awarded me. King was surprised. What is that second? From how come this person has already been buried? All the four of them, I have myself buried them. I have witnessed them, the people burying them. So what is this? What is this talking about? So please come to so and so place. I am staying in so and so place. Bring the paritoshikam, the gift for the second magical show. So he was totally, in confusion. What is happening? So he, along with his ministers, he went to the address given in the letter. And when he went there, he seeing father, mother, children playing in the garden of his own house. So it was taken aback. How is it possible? So this was also magic show, part of his magic show. Just imagine. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling, an ordinary mortal being can do such a magic. So what to speak of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He is the master of all the magicians. So very nicely, No, Amarendra Prabhu was explaining this. So this is, he is a supreme magician. So we can't, fathom, we can't comprehend, we cannot understand his magic. According to time, place, and circumstances, and according to the different audience, he presents different magical shows for us. And to understand this, we need the guidance of the acharyas. So the acharyas, their on the basis of their interpretation, on the basis of their guidance, then we know what exactly the Supreme Lord wants to impart to us. So this is Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna. So how was the magic show? So
very nice, Prabhu.
Very well. So this is, is from Ujjala Nilamani, I think, from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So ordinary people can do such magic. So what to speak of the Supreme Personality, what is the Supreme Magician? So it's very difficult to understand his leelas. So any points or any comments? Yes, Ganganath, Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, this conjugal love between the gopis and Krishna.
Yeah.
The conjugal love between Gopi and Krishna.
Yeah.
It has been put off by Yogamaya, or they understood, because they play with us. They played in the Vrindavana, in the Goloka Vrindavana, and at the abode. There also they didn't feel that this is the Supreme Lord. They already felt that this is the master.
Yeah. So Yogamaya arranges for different leelas of Supreme Lord Krishna and his lovers. Okay, the gopis. She arranges everything. So the conjugal love, now especially in Vrindavana, see all the pastimes of Lord Krishna, the stage is arranged by Purnamasi. Except what? Sujay Gaur Chandra Prabhu? All the pastimes of Lord Krishna, the stage is set or arranged by Yogamaya, that is Purnamasi. Except the conjugal love part. Except the Madhurya Leelas.
Which is done by
that is arranged by Tulasi Maharani.
Tulasi Maharani.
You know why?
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
You know what's the reason? Any guess?
Because it's very intimate. This one is Tulasi Maharani only, but the Radharani.
No, it's not that.
Prabhu,
Prabhu,
Tulasi Maharani arranges only for Krishna and Radharani Devi. And for other devotees, Purnamasi is involved.
No, but why this segregation? Why can't Purnamasi arrange for conjugal love Leela also?
Prabhu, because Purnamasi is little aged.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
That is the reason. She is aged. And this is not the Leela for the aged people. Okay, this is between the youth. Okay, this Leela is meant for between two beloved, lover and beloved, is of that age. Purnamasi is an elderly lady, so she cannot arrange according to the taste of Krishna and the gopis such pastimes. So that is the reason. Okay. So anything else? The same. This is chapter 6. By devotional service, one can understand that Krishna, first of all, manifests himself as Swayam Rupa, his personal form. Then Tat Egatma Rupa, and then as Avesha Rupa. It is in these three features that he manifests himself in his transcendental form. The feature of Swayam Rupa is the form by which Krishna can be understood by one who may not understand his other features. In other words, the form by which Krishna is directly understood is called Swayam Rupa, or his personal form. The Tad Ekatma Rupa is a form which most resembles to Swayam Rupa, but there are some differences in the bodily features. The Tad Ekatma Rupa is divided into two manifestations, the personal expansion, Swamsha, and the pastime expansion, Vilasa. As far as the Avesha Rupa is concerned, when Krishna empowers some suitable living entity to represent him, that living entity is called Avesha Rupa or Satya Avesha Avatara. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining Sanatana Goswami about different expansion. That is So Amsha and Vibhinna Amsha. So means personal form, that is his own expansion. What it said here, that Swayam Rupa is the form by which Krishna can be understood by one who may not understand his other features. In other words, the form by which Krishna is directly understood is called Swayam Rupa, or his personal form. And Tad Ekatma Rupa is that form which most resembles to Swayam Rupa, but there are some differences. Okay, so when Krishna expands us, we can understand it is Krishna only. That is Swayam Rupa. But Tad Ekatma Rupa is that there are some differences. For example, first expansion Balrama. Okay, there are some differences. Okay. It's not same as when Krishna expanded as cowherd boys and calves. It was the same Krishna in the same form. Okay, so that is Swayam Rupa only. But when he expands as Balrama or Shankarshana, Vasudeva, it's different features. Some differences are there. And the last one is, the other one is Avesha. That is, he's empowering somebody. So different expansions. So basically it is different expansion. The personal form of Krishna can be divided into Swayam Rupa and Swayam Prakasha. So these are all technical. Unless we want to know in detail, we have to go in detail. So Swayam Rupa and Swayam Prakasha. So as far as the Swayam Rupa or pastime form is concerned, it is that form that he remains always in Vrindavana with the inhabitants of Vrindavana. Swayam Rupa never goes out of Vrindavana. This personal form, Swayam Rupa, can be further divided into Prabhava and Vaibhava forms. For example, Krishna expanded himself in multiple forms during Rasa dance in order to dance with each and every gopi who took part in the dance. Similarly, he expanded himself into 16,108 times forms in Dwaraka when he married to 16,108 wives. So there are some instances of great mystics expanding their bodily forms by the yoga process. See, so the similarity is given with the yogis who also expands. So here, 16,108 times Lord Krishna expanded in the same form. And along in the Rasa dance, he expanded how many crores of gopis are there as Krishna himself. This Swayam Rupa. Okay. So these are given different technical terms like Prabhava and Vaibhava. And yogis also expand, but that expansion and this expansion is a lot of difference. So let us read what it says. But Krishna did not expand himself in the way that yogis expanded. In the Vedic history, Shaubhari Rishi expanded himself into 8 forms by the yoga process. Okay, Shaubhari Rishi expanded himself into 8 forms, but those expansions were simply reflections. For Shaubhari remained one. So what, as I have explained earlier also, the mystic yogis can expand maximum 9 times. Okay, it is said that it is reflection. So how is reflection? Suppose the main person lift the hand what the reflection does, it also lifts the hand. Isn't it? There is no independent movement. Here in 16,108 Krishnas, in each palaces, he was doing different activities, not the same activities. One was playing with his wife, the other was doing gardening, the other was, just chit-chatting with the wife. So different activities. So the expansions of the yogis and the expansion of the Supreme Lord is not the one and same. So that's why it is said it is reflection. For Saubhari remained one, but when Krishna manifested himself in different forms, each and every one of them was a separate individual. When Narada Muni visited Krishna at his different palaces in Dwaraka, he was astonished at this. And yet Narada is never astonished to see the expansions of the yogi's body, since he knows the trick himself, because he is also a yogi. So he is not astonished by the yogi's expansion, but Lord Krishna, when he expanded 16,108 times, he was the same person doing different activities at different places. That's why he was astonished. So Srimad Bhagavatam describes Narada Muni's astonishment at seeing Krishna's expansions in Dwaraka. Narada wondered how the Lord was present with his queens in each and every one of his 16,108 palaces. With each queen, Krishna himself was in different form, acting in different ways. In one form, he was talking with his wife. In another form, he was petting his children. And in another form, he was performing some household duty. These different activities are conducted by the Lord when he is in his emotional forms, which are known as Vaibhava Prakasha expansions. Similarly, there are other unlimited expansions of Krishna's forms, but even when they are divided or expanded without limit, they are still one and the same. There is no difference between one form and another. That is the absolute nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even in the material world, in the films, one person is acting in double role. From where this is coming? What is the source?
The source for everything is Krishna, is Prabhu.
Yeah, everything is Krishna. And people think, oh, we have made something really wonderful, experience, double role, triple role, the same person. So this is all emanating from Lord Krishna only. So whatever is there in our epics, Mahabharata, Ramayana, everything they are taking. So this ability is also coming from Krishna. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that when Akrura was accompanying Krishna and Balrama from Gokula to Mathura, he entered the waters of the Yamuna river and could see all the planets of the spiritual sky. He also saw the Lord in his Vishnu form, as well as Narada and the four Kumaras who were worshipping him, as stated in Bhagavad Purana. So Akrura was taking Lord Krishna and Balram from Vrindavana to Mathura on the order of Kamsa. So as they were crossing the Yamuna, he saw in the waters of Yamuna all the planets of the spiritual sky and also the Lord in the Vishnu form. And he saw Narada and the four Kumaras was worshipping the Lord. So he could make out that this Krishna, who has come as a cowboy, is not an ordinary person, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyecha samskrutatmano smano vidhinabhin hitena te yajanti tvanmaya swambai bahumurti ekamurtikam. Supreme Lord's many worshippers, the Vaishnavas or Aryans, are purified by the various processes of worship. They perform according to their convictions and spiritual understanding. Each process of worship involves understanding different forms of the Lord, as mentioned in the scriptures, but the ultimate idea is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So different worshippers worship different forms of Supreme Lord according to the taste and according to their mindset to which form they are attached to. But ultimately, it goes to the same Supreme Lord only. in whatever, whether you are worshipping Lord Vishnu or Narayana or Krishna, Narsimhadev, Vamana, whoever it is, but ultimately it's all towards to the same Supreme Personality of God. But one should never mistake that worshipping Lord Brahma, Shiva, Ganapati, Hanuman, or Ayyappa, or this and that is same. All Vishnu Tattvas are same. Praying to all Vishnu Tattvas goes to the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in his Vaibhava Prakasha feature, Lord manifests himself as Balarama because there is difference. It's not the Swayam Rupa. So Vaibhava Prakasha is having different features of the Supreme Personality. Sevya Bhagavan, Sevak Bhagavan. Krishna is the Sevya Bhagavan, Balarama is the Sevak Bhagavan. Both are Supreme Personality of Godhead, but there are differences. The Balarama feature is as good as Krishna himself. Only difference being that Krishna's body, he is blackish and Balarama is whitish. But some close devotees approach Srila Prabhupada. They argued among themselves, there is no difference between Krishna and Balaram. So they went and approached Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, what is the difference between Krishna and Balaram? Both are Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada said, yes, both are Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the other, so what is the difference? One is white in complexion, the other one is black in complexion. Prabhupada said, yes. Then the other devotee said, so one is Sevya Bhagavan, one is Sevak Bhagavan. So both, so there were arguments. So Prabhupada is telling, siding both of, when this party says something, Prabhupada says, yes, you are also right. When the other party is arguing, say, you are also right. So then who is right? In brief, both are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, but for particular purpose, they have expanded. One is giving service, one is accepting service. That's only difference. Both are same. Both are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's what we have to understand. So the Balarama feature is as good as Krishna himself. The only difference being that Krishna's body, he is blackish and Balarama is whitish. Vaibhava Prakasha form was also displayed when Krishna appeared before his mother Devaki in the four-handed form of Narayana. So when Lord appeared in this mortal world, before he took the baby form, he appeared in the four-handed Narayana form in front of Devaki and Vasudeva. Just when he entered the world, then the request of his parents, he transformed himself into a two-handed form because they were scared also to see, Immediately he transformed into two-handed form. Thus, he sometimes manifests four hands and sometimes two. The two-handed form is Vaibhava Prakasha and the four-handed form is Prabhava Prakasha. In his personal form, Krishna is just like a cowherd boy and he thinks of himself in that way. But when he is in the Vasudeva form, he thinks of himself as a son of Kshatriya and feels like a Kshatriya, a princely administrator. So Vasudeva form is a Kshatriya form. He considers himself as a king and son of Vasudeva. In his two-handed form as the cowherd son of Nanda Maharaja, Krishna fully exhibits his opulence, beauty, wealth, attractiveness and pastimes. Indeed, in some Vaishnava literature, it is found that sometimes in his form as Vasudeva, he becomes attracted to his form of Govinda in Vrindavana. Thus, as Vasudeva, he sometimes decides to enjoy as Govinda does. Although the Govinda form and the Vasudeva form are ultimately one and same. In this regard, there is a passage in the Lalita Madhava in which Krishna addresses Uddhava as follows. My dear friend, the form of this cowherd boy Govinda attracts me. Okay? Lord Krishna is telling Uddhava that the form of cowherd boy Govinda attracts me. Indeed, I wish to be like the damsels of Raja, who are also attracted by this form of Govinda. Similarly, later in the Lalita Madhava, Krishna says, oh, how wonderful it is. Who is this person? After seeing him, also I am so much attracted that I now desire to embrace him just like Radhika. So this Lalita Madhava, Vidagdha Madhava, are all drama plays written by Rupa Goswami. There are also forms of Krishna that are a little different from his original form, and these are called Tad Ekatma Rupa forms. These may be further divided into Vilasa and Suamsha forms, which in turn have many different features and can be divided into Prabhava and Vaibhava forms. So it's a lot of categories. Very difficult to, retain these technical forms and the details of it, but still for our understanding, okay. As far as the Vilasa forms are concerned, there are innumerable Prabhava Vilasas headed by Krishna's expansions as Vasudeva, Shankarshna, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Sometimes the Lord thinks of himself as a coward boy. Sometimes he thinks of himself as Vasudeva's son, Kshatriya prince, and this thinking of Krishna is called his pastimes. Actually, he is in the same form in his Vaibhava Prakash and Prabhava Vilasa. But he appears differently as Krishna and Balarama. His expansions as Vasudeva, Shankarshna, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha are all original Chadurvyuha or four-armed forms. So this is Chadurvyuha forms, four-armed forms. That is actually coming from Balarama, the expansion of Chadurvyuha, that four-armed forms. First, Lord Krishna, two-handed Supreme Personality Godhead, he expands as Balarama. From him comes the four-handed forms of Chadurvyuha. So there are innumerable four-armed manifestations in different planets and different places. For instance, they are manifested in Dwaraka and Mathura eternally. From the four original four-handed forms are manifested the 24 principal four-armed forms, which are called Vaibhava Vilasa. So depending upon the weapons that he holds, the placement of weapons in different hands, 24 such manifestations are there. It is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. Same four principal manifestations of Krishna are found on each planet in the spiritual sky known as Narayana Loka or Vaikuntha Loka. In Vaikuntha Loka, Krishna is manifested in the four-handed form of Narayana. From each Narayana are manifested the form of Vasudeva, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Thus, Narayana is the center. So first Chadurvyuha, then Narayana, then again another set of Chadurvyuha. And the four forms of Vasudeva, Shankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha surround the Narayana form. Each of these four forms again expands into three, and these are all having different names beginning with Keshava. These forms are 12 in all, and again they are known by different names according to the placement of the symbols in their hands, which I told you. According to the placement of the different weapons. What is that? What are the weapons? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. So they have different names. So different permutation combination, and so 24 different forms you'll find. As far as the Vasudeva form is concerned, the three expansion manifested from him are Keshava, Narayana, and Madhava. The three forms expanded from Shankarshana are known as Govinda, Vishnu, and Sri Madhusudana. It should be noted that this Govinda is not the same Govinda manifested in Vrindavana as son of Nanda Maharaja. So this Govinda is different from the Govinda of Vraja. Similarly, from Pradyumna, expand the three forms known as Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara. And the three forms expanded from Aniruddha are known as Rishikesha, Padmanama, Damodara. So there are unlimited names of Supreme Lord. So it is very difficult for us to retain all these things. Let us understand that we don't understand anything. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here.
Prabhu, I am remembering suddenly, Hare Krishna Prabhu, when you said that, let us understand that we don't understand anything, I suddenly remember somebody was asking a question to Srila Prabhupada ji, that what is the purpose of writing so many scriptures if we cannot understand Krishna? So the reply was very funny, Prabhu. The reply Prabhupada gave is that the purpose of all this literature is to say that even after reading this, you cannot understand Krishna. So magnanimous he is actually. You cannot understand.
Yes, bro. Yes, that is it. Otherwise, people go, oh, I know Krishna. You talk to any, come for Bhagavad Gita class, we'll read Bhagavad Krishna. I've
Especially
so
India,
cheaply.
Prabhu.
So cheaply. Read, try to understand. The more you know that you don't understand anything.